So, most of us have been cooking for ourselves more than ever before and may need some inspiration and maybe some fresh recipe ideas. We're also unable to travel, of course, the way we used to. So why not travel with our taste buds? Pei is here to take us around the world with the latest cookbooks. Hi, Pei.
Hi, Tracy. Yeah, I absolutely love collecting and reading cookbooks. So that makes up a lot of I would say the furniture in my condo, like end tables. It's like a coffee table. So I selected a couple of great new cookbooks. A lot of them are Canadian as well. So I've always loved highlighting Canadian cookbooks and authors. So the first one is Diala's Kitchen. I absolutely love this book. It has very veggie-forward recipes, bold, flavorful, also very pescatarian friendly. So you'll find a lot of seafood and fish recipes in there too. And now it's the kind of recipe that would your family would love. There are a lot of twists on classics. So just really nice, bright flavors that you could definitely incorporate into your family meal planning. Now, she is someone who was a flight attendant, so she's traveled the world, and a lot of her travels have inspired the recipes in the book. So I think it's a great way to inject some new flavors into your everyday meals. Another Canadian cookbook that I'm a big fan of is this one called Mai Nam. Now, this is named after a Vancouver Thai restaurant by award-winning chef Angus An. I love a book like this because Thai food I absolutely adore. It was something that I would go out to eat at a restaurant, but not so much make at home. So I love the idea of having a book that highlights a particular region or type of cuisine, because then it's like having a little textbook. It's like a how-to, it's a guidebook, tips and tricks, suggestions on tools that you might need, ingredients to keep in your pantry that you can use in multiple ways. A really beautiful book, lots of wonderful seafood dishes as well. So something that you might want to spend a little bit of time and learn how to cook some beautiful Thai dishes as well. So we can't really physically travel as much as we would like to or would have planned, but we can certainly incorporate a lot of international flavors into our meals at home.
So we love Thai in this house. I'm right with you there. Your next book, we're keeping it local.
We are. This is a really great book for anyone you know who loves spirits or is curious about it. Again, this is another Canadian book. Wonderful writers who travel. I'm sure it sounds like a really hard job. They went coast to coast and visited over 200 distillers across Canada. So, I mean, tough assignment, I guess. A decade ago, there were fewer than a dozen distilleries in Canada that produced most of the spirits, and that was mostly whiskey. So, 10 years ago, we had about a dozen. Now there's over 200. So think of this as like a travel book. And even though we're not traveling as much, within your region or your province, there might be something to discover, or maybe just the border of the province near you. What's great about this book is that it is kind of like the portable guidebook that you used to backpack, and you'd always carry that book that had the map and the contact info, the phone number, the price of things. That's what is in here. So really wonderful for anyone who's a real spirits fan or is kind of curious, because there's also a really great glossary of terms. And if you read that, you'll feel like you're an expert. Trust me.
Well, I have many spirit fans in my life, so thank you for that reference. That would be a good gift. Now, let's talk a little bit about salads. They sometimes get a bad rap, but they're not boring anymore. Am I right?
They're not boring. And I think at home, you sometimes get a bit bored because you might have that one salad dressing and you don't experiment that much. So this is a great book. This is Mandy's Gourmet Salads. It's actually based in Montreal. So two sisters opened a tiny little salad bar at the back of a women's clothing store. It has since grown into 8 standalone salad restaurants, and they're quickly expanding across Canada as well. So this will give you some really great flavor inspiration. I think what makes a salad is, your variety of textures, flavors, toppings. They have a really beautiful section just on dressings. And I think if you can master a couple of different dressings, then you're good to go. And right now we've got so much in season that you can incorporate into your salad. So it's a great a guidebook for anyone who wants to eat a little bit healthier and just punch up the flavor of their salads. So then next, I want to talk about this book, which is called Palestine. And this is a tour of Palestinian cooking from Altalengi's executive chef, Sami Tamimi. You're looking at 120 recipes in here. It's a bit of a love story, I think, to the people of Palestine and the cooking and the history there. Also, when you buy one of these things, there's ways to use it. So, Aleppo peppers might become your go-to. something that you use all the time, za'atar, sumac, those sorts of ingredients that you may not be as familiar with, but you can definitely use a lot in a book like this that features such beautiful stories and recipes as well. So you're looking at recipes from, refugee camp cooks all the way to home cooks, highlighting, a tahini master, for example. So it's a beautiful story in addition to teaching you how to cook great recipes.
Ooh, I like the addition of weaving in stories of people in the culture and at all the different socioeconomic levels. That's beautiful. A love letter to Palestine. I love that. Okay, the next one is going to be very helpful, I think, for anyone who's cooking for more than one as family recipes. So what am I cooking tonight, Pei? What's your next book?
Well, it's going to be veggie based. So the Vegucated Family Table, I wanted to highlight this just because I think there's a lot more interest in eating plant-based. And for some families, they're interested in feeding their children from a young age more of a vegan diet. So whether you choose to go vegan or you just want more veggie-friendly ideas, this is a cookbook that can help you with recipes and suggestions in terms of feeding kids from a very young age, raising them on a very vegetable-forward recipe. So great 125 plant-based recipes for vegans, or let's say the veg curious is what they say.
Oh, that's such a good way to label it, veg curious. I need to be more curious about veg, let me tell you that. Pei, thank you so much for that great travel through cookbooks and through